working media in association with Boxer Ben Davison. A big challenge for Lee Wood. We've seen the press conference. Both guys are confident. One of the things that strikes out to me is the fact that Lee appears like he's more confident than he was in the first fight, and he obviously said that in the presser as well.
Yeah, a lot of talk going into the first fight that Mauricio LARA was this monster and Lee was mad for wanting to take this fight and all the rest of it. And I think that Lee grew as the fight went on. I think at the end of the fight, there was a lot of people that actually said, you know what, I can see a clear path to victory for Lee Wood in that fight, even though the fight ended how it happened. So, yeah, I think Lee's brimming with confidence and he knows what he needs to do. And as mad as it may sound, he can actually take a lot of confidence from his performance in the first fight.
Is there any element of that first fight of LARA maybe just biding his time and trying to set Lee up for the shot, or do you think it was a case of Lee just dominating him throughout the fight until that moment?
Yeah, there's one of Lara's things is he'll try and lull you to sleep and bring you on to something. He's actually a very good counter puncher, which a lot of people wouldn't believe, but that's one of his party pieces. So, I mean, it wasn't like a complete setup. He was trying to counter Lee's right hand with a left hook, which he was trying to do numerous times throughout the fight. There was a little setup to draw that out that Lee used in that moment to try and draw that left hook out, which he did, but instead of getting rid of that left hook before making him pay, Lee took it on with his own left hook and paid the price in that moment. But he's fully aware of what happened there, what mistakes were made, and he's confident that he can put that right.
And with regards to taking the rematch, whose decision was it? Was the final decision left with Lee, or was it a joint team decision?
Yeah, it was an agreement between everybody. I mean, obviously we had some sit downs and I had some discussions with Eddie about potential next steps, and there was obviously talks of potential Warrington and Mauricio LARA fighting. However, Lee was adamant that he wanted to do this rematch and not step aside. There was also the fact that the WBA put a letter out to say that they were going to order their mandatory Komatov, and basically, without going into too much detail, it meant that a situation might occur where if Lee was to rematch Mauricio LARA and let Warrington and LARA fight first, he may not be boxing for his title back, and that was something that was key and really important to Lee. So. Yeah, it was a joint decision, but one that we're all confident in as well. Not something that we was forced into. Open to everybody's opinions and within the team, and the conclusion that we come to, based on how disciplined and how involved Lee gets in a game plan, to take him away from that to box somebody else, to bring him back to that with some minor adjustments, just probably didn't make sense, as well as Lee's aspirations and goals to become a two-time world champion.
Is it worth mentioning, because if Lee didn't take this rematch, he would have got slaughtered online. The fact he's took the rematch, I'm still seeing a lot of people saying, you're going to get knocked out, it's going to be the same again. Is there an element of you can't please everyone and just do what you do? And it's almost like back in the olden days, they just fought each other back to back. I remember Sugar Ray Robinson when he lost for the second time against Randolph Turpin. He fought him 3-4 times in a row after that.
Yeah, for sure. People say that boxing needs to be more like the old days and etc., etc. But then when you get scenarios that play out like the old days, people complain. So I'm not saying everybody complains. A lot of people are really happy that this fight's taking place. The first fight was a great fight, really competitive fight, and that's what we're going to get again on Saturday. So the best of the best. We've got 4 guys. I'm saying within Britain, Lara's Mexican, but he's been coming over and bringing the heat to the UK, but we've got Josh Warrington, Lee Wood, Michael Conlon and Mauricio LARA, that between them 4, how many fights you could get out of them just between the 4 of them is phenomenal. The featherweight division's on fire, and we're just fully focused on Saturday for the moment though.
Definitely. Can I get some quick predictions from you for Conlon Lopez and also Okoli, Chris William-Smith?
I think that Michael Conlon will be successful against Lopez. I fancy him to spend a lot more time southpaw in that fight to try and take away an element of Lopez's unpredictability with his left hook, left uppercut, left hook to the body. Don't know where he's coming. I think Mikkel, being southpaw, will help take that away. I also think that I haven't seen bundles. I actually think that the Okoli Billam Smith fight, I think it's a great fight. I do. I think that They know each other. When you've done that many rounds together, it's always going to be competitive. It's always going to be competitive. So I think it's a really good matchup. But the fact that they know each other so well, it could end up being a bit of a stinker as well. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen bundles of them, to be honest.
And a quick word on Tyson. We've seen that the latest front runner to fight him is Dempsey McKean. What kind of challenge do you think that brings? And considering he can't get an opponent, is it a justified fight?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. No comment. I don't know whether that's how true that news is. For example, it could be absolute nonsense, and I'm sitting here commenting on him potentially fighting Dempsey McKean when could be so far from the truth.
Billy Joe Saunders, he said he's coming back. Is that realistic? Is it definitely this year? Because he still looks a bit heavy. I think he said he's got 2 stone to lose.
Yeah, this year is still feasible. But he's working in his own time. As I said many times, he's not in a position where he needs to come back to fill his pockets. He's financially more than comfortable, and he's coming back for the love of it. So when he's ready, if he's ready.
How did you score Devin Haney versus Lomachenko?
I haven't actually sat down and scored it like round by round properly. However, watching the fight live, I felt like the winner of that last round was probably going to nick it, probably going to get it. I thought it was a real competitive, great fight, and I thought Devin was phenomenal, disciplined in his approach and his game plan, and Lomachenko is a generational talent, an unbelievable fighter, still a pound for pound great, with 3 losses on his record. There's not many people that remain on that list with 3 losses on their record. So, yeah. I thought it was a fantastic performance. I thought, I could understand somebody giving it to Lomachenko, but I can certainly more than understand somebody giving it to Devin as well.
What do you make of the comments Paulie Malignaggi made post-fight? And I think a lot of it based around, I think he suggested racing may have played a part in it, the American judges may have played a part in it, because a lot of people have been quite vocal about the fact that Loma should have got the decision.
I mean, is it even something to talk about?
He suggested it, so I just thought, it's an interesting one. Ben, I wish you all the best, because I know...
It's an interesting one because it's mad. It's absolute madness. What a load of rubbish. There's your headline.
What? Ben Davison says, Paulie Malignaggi, what a load of rubbish. But jokes aside...
I actually think that Paulie, he knows his boxing. Some of the things that, when he breaks down a fight and he talks about a fight, I think he does know his stuff. I just, there's obviously a bit of beef between Devin and I don't know if it's with Bill as well and Paulie. So, he's probably not a fair person to take judgment from that decision from.
Ben, I genuinely wish you all the best. I know how much it means to you, and you've done a great job with Lee. So all the best Saturday.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Good luck, brother.